Okay, part two of going over cross in my encyclopedia. This is the Chambers Encyclopedias from the 1890s. If you are a free thinker and you can actually handle the truth and you're not softer than baby shit and you like old books, give me a follow. It appears that the sign of the cross was in use as an emblem, having certain religious and mystic meanings attached to it, long before the Christian era. The cruz ansata, or cross with a handle to it, C, is common on Egyptian monuments. There you have it right there. It was the symbol of immortality. The cross with equal arms and the cross with return arms, or phyloft, D, is a symbol found on prehistoric relics in Italy and elsewhere. And that is that one right there. What do you know? See Mordalet, le signe de la Croix avant le Christianisme, 1866. The Spanish conquerors were astonished to find it an object of religious veneration among the natives of Central and South America, where it was a symbol of the god of rains. The god of rains. Ooh, my dyslexia is coming in strong. The forms given to crosses in art are endless, but the two leading types are the Latin cross, E, okay, or crus e missa, supposed to be that on which Christ suffered, and the Greek cross, F, which are just even parts, both of which are subject to many fantastic variations. The Greek cross forms the well-known cross of St. George, which was the national ensign of the English previous to the union with Scotland. The cross of St. Andrew, G, different entirely in form from the Latin or Greek cross. And there you see G is like an X. This cross, or cruz ducusada, consisted of two shafts of equal length crossed diagonally at the middle, as in the annexed cut. According to the legend, this was the form of cross on which St. Andrew, the national saint of Scotland, suffered martyrdom. See Andrew. We're going to have to go over that too. As the Scottish insignia, ensign, it's ensign. It is now blended with the cross of St. George in the Union Jack. The cross of the resurrection is a fluoridated cross and is usually represented as heading a lance to which is fastened a banner upon which a cross is depicted. The earliest and finest fluoridated cross is that in the mosaic of San Panziano, where, however, the flowers spring from the shaft, and on the arms stand two lighted candles. The idea of the fluoridated cross seems to have been to connect it with Aaron's rod that budded, and so to signify the internal priesthood of Christ. In medieval times, a cross, the rood, stood over the screen between the nave of a church and the chancel. This was always veiled in Lent. The crutched cross, like the letter T, was the symbol of St. Anthony the Hermit. Processional crosses are those carried in processions. See crozier. Pectoral crosses, those worn on the breast by ecclesiastics of rank. Many orders have distinctive crosses. See Legion of Honor. There is so much stuff that we have to go over, y'all. The Order of the Cross, originally a spiritual order of knighthood, sprang up in Palestine in the time of the Crusades and was then called the Bethlehemite Order. Pope Gregory IX confirmed the order in 1238. Its principal seat was in Bohemia. There is also a Brazilian Order of the Cross. I would have never guessed that there was some secret society. I am flat. My gasps are flabbered. Sanctuary, boundary, and monumental crosses, as they are called, consist of an upright, flat pillar or obelisk covered with scriptural devices and set in a socket level with the ground. Occasionally, they appear to have marked boundaries, but more frequently were monuments over the graves of heroes, kings, bishops, etc. A vast number of extremely rude and early crosses of granite occur in Cornwall and Devon. Some of these have apparently been fashioned out of prehistoric monoliths. Of course, they took things and broke them up to make things that they wanted, or changed them and carved them, excuse me. In some instances, they probably marked the verge of a sanctuary. A characteristic type of cross is the Celtic cross, most frequently found in Ireland and in the north and west of Scotland. Such crosses vary much, from a cross incised on a flat slab to an elaborate cruciform monument. The majority of the latter seem to belong to a period between the 12th and 15th centuries. One of the best known is that at Iona, called St. Martin's Cross, standing in the grounds of the cathedral, and that's right here. Ione is actually my middle name, and it's after the Ionian Islands, which is a chain of islands in Greece. It is a column of compact mica schist, 14 feet high, 18 inches broad, and 6 inches thick, and is fixed in a pedestal formed out of a massive block of red granite, about 3 feet high. In connection with certain ancient religious houses in Ireland, there were very fine Celtic crosses. Some crosses of this type show Scandinavian workmanship, hence they are often called runic crosses. The cross of Ruthwell in Dumfriesshire and that of Bewcastle in Cumberland are interesting samples. Churchyard crosses seem to have existed in all churchyards before the Reformation. Some still exist, and the remains of others are numerous. In France, in connection with the cemetery cross, in some parts, a perpetual lamp has kept burning, and the contrivance for the lamp remains in some of them. Many very beautiful crosses exist in England, upon the points of gables of churches or gravestones, and in other situations, as also in heraldry. Among these, the cross most commonly seen is called the cross crosslet. See below. Memorial crosses are such as are erected in memory of a beloved object or in commemoration of some event of local importance. In England, there are some superb crosses of this kind. They are popularly called Norman crosses. This species of cross resembled a Gothic turret set on the ground or on a base of a few steps and was decorated with niches for figures and pinnacles. The best known examples are those erected by Edward I, 1290, in memory of his queen, Eleanor, being placed on the spots where the body rested in its funeral progress to Westminster. The crosses at Waltham, Cheapside, and Charing were of the number. That at Charing was removed by the Parliament in 1647. A modern reproduction now occupies the site. The Waltham Cross, restored in 1888, remains as a testimonial of the affection of piety of the greatest of the Plantagenets. Excuse me, I probably fucked that up. Anyways, there's that. Waltham Cross, restored. Village crosses stood in the center of most villages in ancient times. In the west of England, a good many remain. Town or market crosses were erected as stands to preach from, or in commemoration of events regarding which it was deemed proper to evoke pious feelings. As these structures were incorporated with or surmounted by a crucifix, the term cross was so indelibly associated with them that it survived the religious character of the fabrics. The earliest examples of this kind consisted probably of tall crucifixes of wood, such as are still seen by the waysides in some continental countries. Okay, come back for part 3.